Hello everyone. In the previous video, we solved May-June paper May-June 2022, paper 1, variant 2. Now, in this video, we are going to solve question number 21 till 40 of this same paper. So let's start the paper. Question number 21. Which list shows the states of matter in order of expansion from smallest to greatest for the same temperature rise? We know that every matter object expands when heated, but rate of expansion varies with the state of matter. So solids expands the least, liquid expands more than solid, and gases expands most. So option D will be the correct one. Solid expand least, then liquid more, and gases most. Next question. Which row describes the boiling and evaporation of a liquid? So there are basically differences of boiling and evaporation. So we must be very well aware of 4 to 5 differences between boiling and evaporation. Let's analyze these options. Here in option A, they say bubble form throughout the liquid. Yeah, that is right about boiling. In evaporation, they say only occurs at one temperature. This is not right because evaporation occurs at all temperatures. Option B is bubble form throughout the liquid. Yes, that's right. Evaporation produces cooling. Yes, both of these are right. So this is the correct option. Let's analyze other options also. Occurs at any temperature. No, that's wrong because boiling occurs only at boiling point. Evaporation only occurs at one temperature. Again, it is wrong. D. Boiling occurs at any temperature. No, boiling happens only at boiling point, and this is correct that it produces cooling, but both lines are correct only in option B, so option B is the correct one. Next question. A hair dryer is used to blow air across the surface of water in a beaker so that water evaporates. What increases the rate of evaporation? So rate of evaporation depends upon the following factors. Those are surface area, then speed of wind, and surface temperature. Right? So as they are saying hair dryer is used to blow air, so this factor is already counted. Let's discuss other factors. Decreasing the speed of air, no. They are asking what increases the rate. So another factor must be here in these options. Increasing the surface area, look, option C seems correct. Increasing the surface area of the water by using the wire beaker. Yeah, this will also increase rate of evaporation. Next question. The diagram shows a ray PQ reflected by mirror X to a parallel mirror Y. Here are mirror X and here is mirror Y. The reflected ray along RS is parallel to PQ. Okay, fine. So basically a ray PQ was incident on mirror X. Then it was reflected to QR. And after that it bent to RS, and all of these rays are bending at 90-degree angle. We know that when reflection occurs, the two angles, which are angle of incidence and angle of reflection, and they are both equal. So, but angle of incident and angle of reflection are both formed with the normal. So let us draw a normal line here. So it means this normal will divide this 90-degree angle into two equal parts. So one angle will be 45 degree each. This one will too be 45. Similarly, if we draw a normal here, this angle will also be 45 and this will also be 45. Let's see the options now. The angle between PQ and QR is 45 degree. PQ, this ray, QR is this ray. No, angle between them is 90 degree basically. The angle between QR and RS is 180. QR, this ray, and RS means this ray. No, angle between them is not 180, so this option is also wrong. The angle of incidence of PQ on mirror X is 60 degree. No, angle of incidence is nowhere 60. This is also wrong. So option D, the angle of incidence of QR on mirror Y is 45 degree. If we look at ray QR, this one, so its angle of incidence on the mirror Y, yes, it is 45 degrees. So that's the correct option. Next question. Yeah, here is a concave. Here is a convex mirror, a convex lens or converging lens. So we can see two rays are emerging from an object here. So when these rays are crossing the lens, they are diverging. Both rays are not meeting at one point. Here we have eye position. So in this type of case, we increase the rays backward, as it is already marked in the questions. Rays are extended backwards and they are meeting here. So when these rays will join here, an image will be formed like this. Fine. So we very well know that when image is formed by extending the rays backwards, that is a virtual image. And in this case, although they are not asking about real and virtual, the options are larger or smaller, and this is a larger image. It's clearly larger than the object. And is it upright or inverted? Clearly upright, because this arrow is pointing upward. So option B is the correct one. Inverted image, if object is like this, inverted image is like this, reverse direction. But it is not inverted. Okay. Next question. Violet and indigo light have shortest wavelength in the spectrum of visible light. Which three colors, in order of increasing wavelength immediately, increasing wavelength, means smaller to larger wavelength, immediately follow indigo. Here we know that sequence about Roig Biv letter. It is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, right? So this violet has the shortest wavelength, right? This sequence will be of increasing wavelength. It is increasing wavelength. So after violet, it is indigo, then blue, then green. They are asking follow which three colors follow indigo. Those are blue, green, and yellow, right? Blue, green, and yellow, option B. That's the correct one. The next question. A sound wave passes through a substance. The diagram shows position of molecules of the substance at one point in time. So clearly it is a compressional or longitudinal wave. So they are asking what type of wave and what is point X. So we know that it is a longitudinal wave, and longitudinal wave travel in the forms of compression and rarefaction. Compression, rarefaction. The part where particles are close together is compression, and where the particles are spaced apart is rarefaction. So at X it is compression. So option A is the correct one. It is longitudinal wave, and at X there is a compression. Question 28. A man stands between two tall buildings P and Q. He is 50 meter from P and 200 meter from Q. We can see the distances here, 50 meter and 200 meter. Now when he sounds a horn, he hears the first echo from the building P at 1 second. Later he hears the first echo from building Q. Means the time difference between two echoes is 1 second. Let me do its working here. Time difference is 1 second. We know. Now we have to find out what is the speed of sound calculated using this information. We know that speed is basically equal to distance over time, or we know that time is equal to distance over speed. Fine. So in this case, let's assume that speed of sound is x. So when the sound is reflected from building Q in this way, means it went to building Q and then returned. So the total distance traveled by this sound is 400 meter, 200 meter in one direction. So 400 over x will be the time taken by this sound to reach again to the man who sounds horn by striking building Q. After that, when sound goes similarly, the sound wave travels distance of total 100 meter when it is reflected from building P, because 50 meter is the distance of one side. So in this case, time will become 100 over x, means distance over speed. The difference of both of these time is 1 second. So I have put minus sign in between these two expressions and it is equal to 1. Fine, this is time difference. Now let's solve it, as denominators are both same. So 400 minus 100 becomes 300 over x is equal to 1. X will be multiplied with 1, so 300 is equal to x. Means speed of sound is 300 meter per second. Right? Let's move to next question. What is one use of ultrasound? We know there are many uses of ultrasounds, like it is used in medical purposes and many other uses. One of the uses is cleaning jewelry. As medical purpose is not described here, so we will take option of cleaning jewelry. Next question. A positively charged rod is held near an uncharged metal sphere on an insulating stand. Fine. This is a positively charged rod. It is brought near an uncharged sphere. So we know that it will attract negative charges and repel positive charges. Means positive charges will be repelled, or from all over the sphere, the negative charges will gather on this edge. So as a result, the positive charges will be collected on the other end. We know that far end develops like charge and near end develops unlike charge. Fine. So this end, the near end will develop negative charge, far end will develop positive charge. So option C will be the correct one. Next question. Two metal spheres are mounted on insulating stands. We can see sphere X and Y. Sphere X is initially uncharged. There is no charge on sphere X. And sphere Y is initially positively charged. Fine. So this is positively charged sphere. A metal rod held by an insulating stand is placed in contact with X and Y as shown. So this is a metal rod, insulating handle. So metal rod, we know that this rod can transfer charges. What are charges on X and on Y after the rod is placed in contact with them? So we know that as Y is positively charged, so it will attract electrons. So electrons will move in this direction towards Y. So as electrons will move in this direction, those electrons are coming from this metal rod as well as from the sphere. So when electrons will be removed from this sphere, so this sphere eventually will become positively charged. And since electrons are coming to sphere Y, so we won't take it as a Y will become neutral. No, Y will not become neutral, because it is not the situation described here. We know that just electrons are moving, although it will decrease the amount of positive charge on Y, but it will not make it neutral because it is not an earth connection. So that's why both of sphere will become positively charged. Next question. The diagram shows a simple electric circuit. Which row describes the charge on an electron and the direction of electron flow through the resistor? We know that charge on electron is negative and electrons travel from negative terminal to the positive terminal of battery. So when they will pass inside the resistor, their direction will be from Y to X. And they will go on like this. So the charge on electron is negative and direction of electron flow through the resistor will be Y to X. Option B will be the correct one. Next question. Charge of 0.40 coulomb passes through a resistor in 1 second. In 2 seconds, 20 joule of thermal energy is produced in the resistor. What is the potential difference? So this is energy. Energy is given. We know a formula, basic formula of potential difference is V is equal to W over Q. Here W is the energy or work done, Q is the amount of charge. since work done or energy in this case is 20 joule divided by charge. Charge is 0.4 coulomb in 1 second. They have given us time of 2 seconds. So in 2 seconds, charge will be 0.4 multiplied by 2 means 0.8. So that becomes 20 divided by 0.8. Further solving it, we can get 200 over 8, and that will give us 25 volt. Next question. The diagram shows a simple electric circuit. Which meter measures the current in resistor R2? We know ammeter is used to measure current. So the ammeter connected to resistor R2 is ammeter number D. So that will be the ammeter that is used to used to find out current through resistor R2. Fine. Next question. When the flash on a camera is used, a charge of 1.5 coulomb flows for 0.003 seconds. That is the time. The average voltage is 3600 volt. What is the electrical energy supplied to the flash, and what is the power? We know that the formula to calculate power is IV, means current multiplied by voltage. And current is basically equal to Q over T. So these questions need a little bit calculation. Current Q over T, so we can write down in place of I, we can write down Q over T. Q is charge, which is 1.5. T is the time, which is 0.003 second in this case, multiplied by potential difference or voltage, that is 3600 volt. By solving it, we get 1.8 times 10 to power 6 watt. So obviously this option is the only one which is having 1.8 times 10 to power 6, so that should be correct one. But for the sake of certainty, let's calculate this energy as well. We know that energy, electrical energy, is equal to IVT from the basic formula of energy, which is power multiplied by time. IV is power, T is time. So we already calculated power, 1.8 times 10 to power 6. Multiply it with the time again, which is 0.003 second. So yes, we get 5400 joule. Fine, so option D is the correct one. Next question. The diagram shows an electric circuit. So here is a circuit connected with 3 lamps, 2 in series, other one is parallel with the battery. So here are 2 switches, switch S1 and S2. Which lamps light when switch S1 is closed and S2 is open? When switch S1 is closed, means current is allowed to pass in this direction, but since S2 is open, so current will not flow here. Current will only flow through lamps L1 and L2. So L1 and L2 only will lighten up. Next question. Yes. The diagram shows a hair dryer. That's a hair dryer. Which statement explains why hair dryer does not need an earth wire? First of all, we should be familiar with the use of earth wire. Earth wire basically is used when the casing of an appliance is touched with the live wire and current flows through the casing. So earth wire is used to ground all the excess current. So, but if the wires are doubly insulated, there is double insulation around the wire, means one insulation around live and earth neutral wire separately, and then another double insulation. So this will protect the wires and the casing as well, so earth wire will not necessarily be needed. So it has double insulation, that option will be the correct one. Next question. A left hand can be used to determine the direction of force when current carrying conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field. We are all familiar with this Fleming's left hand rule, which is also called motor effect because it is used in DC motor. So We are very well familiar with the sequence FMC. F means force, thumb indicates force, index finger indicates magnetic field M, and this middle finger indicates current. So which option will be the correct one? Yes, option D. P is force, Q is field, means magnetic field, and finger R will be indicating current. Next question now. As a magnet is moved into the coil of wire as shown, there is a small positive reading on the sensitive ammeter. Fine. Ammeter, we know from Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, when this magnet is moved rapidly in and out of this coil, an EMF will be induced in it. And from Lenz's law, we know about the direction of that EMF. So here we read, basically, let's see the question. Which change must increase the size of the reading? So, means increase the amount of current. So, we read from the law, means Faraday's law, that it relates with some factors. First was movement of magnet, means the speed of magnet, we can say. The greater the speed of magnet in and out of the coil, the greater will be EMF and current. And number of turns also. If there are more turns in the coil, then also the current will increase. So here option C says pushing the magnet in faster. So because when the speed of magnet will be faster, the magnetic flux will change rapidly, and due to change in flux, more EMF will be induced. Next question. Electrical power is transmitted by cables over a long distance at very high voltages. So this is basically the topic related to high voltage transmission. High voltage transmission. This transmission is done when voltage is to be transmitted over very long distances, like voltage, and large amount of voltage is to be transmitted, like voltage from grid station. So in this case, the transmission is done by using a very high voltages, because when voltage is high, the power loss in the cables will be low, and the current will also be low, because we know that in a series combination, when voltage is more, means resistance is more, and when resistance is more, it means current will be low, right? So that's option D is the correct one. Okay, so the paper has been completed. I hope you can understand. If you have any queries related to this, you can ask in comment section. Thank you for watching.